All right. 3, 2. Fuck. All right. Episode 2 of the True Love Tattoo podcast. Before we start, I'd just like to thank Killer Merch for sponsoring the podcast. Always good shit. I've never been disappointed. Always get stuff on time. Follow them on Instagram at Josh_KillerMerch, I think. Fuck, I better check that. That could be wrong. You might just follow someone, the wrong guy altogether. But yeah, Killer Merch. Yes, Josh_KillerMerch. Give them a follow. Hit them up. Check out killermerch.com. Best shit going around. So today, I am joined by one of my very, very, very good friends and very, very, very good employers, Mr. Pete Pav.
Big Daddy Mixter, thank you.
Pete caught a little listen of last week's episode where Josh called me Big Mixter.
Got to keep it going, man.
And it's going. It's fucking going. And I feel like there's nothing I can do about it.
It's going to stick.
It's a fucking car wreck already. This podcast, 2 episodes in, has turned to shit. But Pete, thanks for coming on, man. Thanks for coming down. I know you work today. And yeah, I'm so excited to have you.
Thank you. Can't wait.
So,
going to be a good one.
I want to focus this podcast towards the fact that I know you had a pretty shit start to tattooing.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty rough introduction to it. And you've been tattooing, what, 13 years now?
I think actual tattooing, 13, maybe more years. I would have started my apprenticeship close to 14, 15 years ago, I think.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And whereabouts did you apprentice?
In Moonee Ponds.
In Moonee Ponds here in Melbourne.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So for those of you that don't know, Pete is the owner of Man's Ruin Tattoo here in St Kilda. He's also my boss. He's also a pal of mine. I did my first ever guest spot anywhere at Man's Ruin a couple of years ago.
Amazing.
And it was one of the most fun times I ever had working anywhere. And I'm like, oh man, they're really turning it on for me to while I'm down here visiting. Nope, it's like that every day.
Every day's a party.
Every day is a fucking party. So yeah, I'm so excited. But yeah, your introduction to tattooing 14, 15 years ago was really rough. And I feel like so many people with a career that they want to go in tend to make excuses as to why they're not going to do it. They're just going to keep doing the same old shit.
So many, isn't there?
Yeah, everyone's just got an excuse as to why they can't follow their dreams, so to speak. But you didn't make excuses.
Dude, I was just glad to get my foot in the door. I was hunting apprenticeships for a long time before I got one.
Right. What were you doing before?
I just as far as work or everything, man. Building tennis courts. Putting that fluff in the aluminium doors. Ooh. That was my job.
Nice.
All day. Delivering noodles for Noodle Box.
Yep.
Dude, everything. Working production line, making air conditioners.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Factory man.
Dude, 10 years of factory work.
That's crazy.
Yep.
And that whole time you kind of just wanted to get into tattooing?
Yeah, well, I got my first tattoo, it would have been late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
So different back then. I remember I walked into a shop and I saw it on the wall. It was on the wall. There was a sticker on the wall with the price. And I went,
fuck yeah.
I'll have that one.
Yeah.
Got it on.
And that's what we want now.
Yeah.
That's the dream.
Yeah. Got my first one. I was hooked. Started trying to draw them and hunting apprenticeships and got nowhere. Sort of forgot about it for a while. Moved to Melbourne.
Yep.
I remember going to Chapel Street Tattoo and Daz was there.
Yep.
Best shop guy ever. Fuck, Daz was such a legend. And he goes, come back when you got sleeves. But dude, that guy, he remembered everyone's name. Every time he walked back in the shop,
yeah,
he was the best ever, hey.
So
love
good,
that
man.
Guy, yeah.
That's such a hard skill to have.
Yeah.
I can't remember my own name half the time. I'm pretty sure I'm fucking Big Mixter now. I don't know how that fucking happened.
Big Mixter.
But so...
Well, eventually it was like trying and failing. To get
that apprenticeship? What, you just
years,
like knocking down doors, like just trying
taking
to
my
get
drawings around, just walking shop to shop with my drawings and getting knocked back. I had one good, really good experience. I went to Eternal Instinct.
Yep.
And Giovanni was there, the owner, and he saw my drawings, which were noticeably shit. And he was really cool. He took me in the back room, made me a coffee, and he showed me his drawings, why
Yep.
they're different to mine,
Right.
where I was going wrong, and what to do.
Comparing apples with oranges.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And then he was like, if you ever you're going to run into a lot of dickheads out there.
Uh-huh.
If you ever have trouble, come back and I can help you out. Didn't give me an apprenticeship, but he helped me a lot.
Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people, like when people walk into a shop and they're asking for an apprenticeship and they just get told, nah,
Yeah.
fuck off. No one really gets pointed in the right direction.
Yeah.
No one has that sort of
Yeah,
guidance.
definitely.
So that's cool. That's
Yeah,
cool that
it's really
like
cool.
you weren't sort of like demoralized. So that guy sort of,
Yeah.
he helped you keep the faith a little bit.
Yeah, and I went back there and I got tattooed off Aussie. Aussie did my shoulders.
Cool.
And me and Aussie had a big talk because I was thinking of backyarding. I was like, oh, fuck, I've been trying it for years to get an apprenticeship.
Yep.
I can't get one. And I spoke to Aussie, he goes, no, don't backyard. Just
Yep.
keep at it. Eventually it'll happen. And it did.
And it did.
So eventually I got an apprenticeship. So took my drawings around and she liked my drawings after the Giovanni tweak.
Right.
So she liked them and she was like, sent me home with homework. She was like, all right, go home and do this now.
So this is in Mooney Ponds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This wasn't an apprenticeship yet.
Right.
So she liked my drawings and just to see if I was worthy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Go home and do this. Gave me little projects. Coming back. Oh, by the way, as you know,
Yeah.
I had a kid.
Yes.
Little Minty would have been.
You still have her.
Still got her.
Yeah. Yep.
Little Minty would have been about 2 years old then.
Right.
I didn't have a job. I was on the dole.
Yep.
And I was driving from Chadstone to Mooney Ponds.
How far is that?
Oh, dude, I can't even remember. I feel like it might have been about an hour drive.
Yeah.
I feel like.
That adds up when you're doing it back and forth every day.
Yeah, for free.
For free.
For like someone that treats you like absolute shit.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we'll get into that later. Yeah. So she's given me this homework backwards and forwards. So I guess I got it.
Yep.
Got the job. And I remember the way you start your day is you read your diary.
Yep.
And the diary was full of everything you did wrong the day before.
Right.
So that's how you start your day.
Yeah.
That was wild, man.
I've shown up to work before and there's been a clipboard waiting for me with dot points of things
Yeah.
I've gotten wrong over a significant period
Yeah.
of time. Yeah.
Man, and
So that's sort of like you start your day with a kick in the guts already.
Yep.
It's not so much like sitting down being supportive going, hey man, like yesterday, like you did this, maybe let's just do it this
Yeah.
way. It's sort of like every day you're starting it and it's just like,
I was working for free.
Yeah.
I was like, I had to get there early, clean and mop, open the shop, do the tubes, do the desk, do her drawings.
do her drawings.
Yeah.
What?
And there was a drawing fee. She charged a drawing fee.
Yep.
She kept the drawing fee. I wasn't allowed to say that she did the drawings. I wasn't allowed to say I did the drawings.
Right.
Had to say she did the drawings.
What?
And she got the drawing fee from the drawings I did. And I
Yeah.
drove back home with no money.
Man.
That lasted,
How old are you at this sort of point?
I started late. I think it would have been around about 32.
Yeah. So that would also be hard.
Yeah.
I feel like being an 18-year-old, like that whole situation's fucked. But being an
Yeah.
18-year-old going in, you're young, you're kind of used to people using you for scab labor a little
Yeah.
bit. But especially being in your 30s and having held down like full-time stable jobs for
Yeah, man.
so long, going to that and being like the bottom of the barrel,
Dude,
all that sort of stuff,
yeah.
that would have been like really difficult to sort of go home
Yeah.
at the end of the day and want to bring yourself back to work.
It was so hard. But I knew I wanted this. And it was my foot in the door. It was the first time I have had my foot in the door. Like I said,
Yeah.
I've been trying for years to get an apprenticeship. And I was like, I'm not letting this get away. I don't care how long I got to drive. I don't care what it takes.
Right.
I'm doing it. And I remember it was so petty. There was things like, there was bonsai plants and she had like a water squirter and you had to do 30 squirts
30.
on the bonsai. And she went, did you squirt the bonsais? Yes. 30 squirts? I'm like, yes.
Could you imagine it? Could you imagine if she could tell? It's like, that's only had 27.
It's like a counter on the...
Clicks over and it's
Yeah,
30.
yeah.
That's crazy.
Oh, and making needles, had to make needles too.
Right. And that's a thing that no one does these days either. I feel like apprenticing back when you did, that was like a pretty
Yeah.
common sort of thing.
Definitely.
Is having to do all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But to be driving an hour and back every day to a workplace that sounds like hell to me. That sounds terrible.
So many stories. I got another one.
Hit me.
So this is so good. She was getting her bike fixed at a bike mechanic.
Right.
So I had to catch public transport. I don't remember where it was, fucking down to get the bike. Rode the bike back, and she's like, "Did you tell him to check the bell?" I was like,
"Oh, this is a push bike."
It's a push bike. Yeah, it's a push. You have to ride the pushy back. Did you tell him to check the bell? I'm like, no. She's like, I can't believe you didn't tell him to check the bell. What sort of moron doesn't check the bell? And I'm like, that
would have been so funny. You got to pick up the bike and you walk in there and you're like, yeah, it all looks good. How's a bell? Fling, fling.
Yeah, it works. It's a bell, mate.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it went off at me for not getting to check the bell. And I'm like, I just picked the bike up.
At any point did you think, maybe she's not like this, maybe she's just doing this to weed out?
Yeah. That was my whole...
It was sort of like...
I was like, she's testing me to see if I can do it.
So you took it that way as opposed to taking it personally, going, this lady's a psychopath.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm not going to let it break me. Just not.
And it never did?
It did. Oh, yeah, it did.
Right.
There's not a happy ending to this story.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it did. So eventually, a year and a half of desk duty is up. I'm allowed a tattoo. Ooh. With the needles I had to make myself.
And your own drawing.
And my own drawings, and the needles I made myself. She had this weird thing where you had to run your liners on 7.5 and your shaders on 10.
You had to?
You had to, no matter what machine it was. And I kept going, I feel like I need to turn it down a bit. She's like, no. And she would come up and like, what's it on? I'm like, it's on like 6. Put it up. I'm like, fuck, okay. Doing a line and say, if there was like a little wobble or whatever, she would like clear her throat and go, ah. And I'm like, oh, fuck. And you could hear her just looking over you. And she would actually say to the customer sometimes while I'm tattooing him, he fucked that up. He goes, what's this while I'm tattooing as an apprentice? He fucked that up. He goes, when it heals, come back and I'll fix it up for you.
You see, I've always had that line put over me, but as a joke.
Yeah, no.
All the time. People that I'd work with, like Dan and Brian that used to work at Conspiracy, they'd come up behind me, just fucking with me the whole time. My first year of the apprenticeship, and they'd say, oh, what are you going to do with that part?
Yeah.
Oh, and then say to the customer, oh, don't worry, we'll fix it up when it heals. All that sort of stuff. But they were joking.
I love that one. Like the whole, why did you do it that way?
Yeah. Oh, man, it really rattles you when it happens.
Yeah.
But I could it rattled me and it was only a joke. I couldn't imagine that being
for real, man. And then having to finish the tattoo still. I haven't even finished the tattoo and I'm still learning how to tattoo.
Yeah. Did she really sit down with you and show you things or sort of kind of figure it out?
It got to the point where I started feeling it and I wanted to put, when you put a bit of angle on your needle and it goes in easier? Mm-hmm. I was doing that. And I'm like, I feel like I need to put angle. She's like, no, you got to go in at 90 degrees. If you go in on an angle, you're going to blow it out.
It was her way or the highway.
Yeah, and I'm like, but it feels like so much easier with a bit of angle. No, straight in. I was like, okay.
Oh,
had to use 3s. Everything was outlined in a 3.
Right, so a super duper fine needle.
Yeah, outlined in a 3 and coloured in with a 7 mag.
Whoa.
Biggest. 7 round shaders.
It's so crazy that for her there is one way of doing things, it's my way.
Yeah.
That blows my mind. I feel like a lot of people would have that and they'd question it.
Yeah, and I've always liked traditional, so I wanted to do these fat lines. How do I do a fat line?
Right.
So I had to outline it with a 3 and build it up with a 5 round shader. That was my outline to get a fat line. I spent all day on a fucking outline. Oh, and you can imagine the inconsistencies in that fucking outline, just trying to build it up around a corner with a 5 round.
Doing things like that way, I feel like you're not going to progress or see progression, and then you're going to start sort of doubting yourself a little bit, going, well, she knows what she's talking about. She's telling me to do it this way, and it's not looking how I want it to look. So you sort of start to think it's a reflection of you and not like, this must be the right way to do shit because that's what she's telling me to do.
Man, it got to the point I started having panic attacks. You know what I'm like. I'm I'm a fortress. You can't rock me these days.
If you were any more laid back, I think you'd die.
yeah. These days. But man, it got to the point where I'd start an outline, have a little panic attack.
Yeah.
And then I noticed it would be opening the tube packets. And then
had you had panic attacks before this?
Never, ever.
So you didn't even know what was going on. I feel like I've had like one panic attack ever.
Yeah, I didn't know. I understand it's a panic attack now. I didn't know what it was then.
Your chest just gets really tight. You got that lump in your throat.
I got this Brower nerve tonic. It's like a thing. Yeah. I used to just scull that every time before my outlines.
Really?
Yeah. And then it got to the point where, say, I'd walk into the shop and it was happening. And it got to the point where I'm getting in my car, going to work.
Yeah.
And I was having a panic attack in my car.
Oh, my God.
And I was like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. And I ended up quitting.
Right.
Yeah.
How long had you stuck it out with that lady at that shop?
I was probably apprenticing there for, again, a year and a half, tattooing for a year and a half.
That's a solid amount of time. It's not like a couple of weeks of it being difficult and then quitting. Like, you stuck that out.
Yeah, actual tattooing for about a year and a half, and I couldn't do it anymore. And I was like, fuck, I've wanted this for so long and it's not for me.
Right.
I thought, because she was actually saying to me as well, some people's hands don't tattoo.
What? Like it's an anatomical thing?
It's in the hand. She goes, you might be good at drawing, but when you tattoo, some people's hands don't do it.
Oh, my God.
And I think she was trying to talk me out of it. But luckily, I'd met, from getting tattooed, a guy, Christy. He was working at Peril.
Okay.
I'd met him, and so I'd quit the other place. I was brokenhearted, man. This was my dream to tattoo. As you know, I've been trying to get an apprenticeship for so long.
Yeah.
I'd stuck it out there, probably all up, over 3 years, probably all up.
Yep.
And I was like, fuck. I had to leave, mental health reasons. I could not be there. And I've got a kid.
Right. And you and Minty's mum weren't together at that point?
Well, it was falling apart. No, we had just broken up. Yeah, I think we had broken up.
So you got all that shit going on
through
at
the
home
course, yeah.
On top of this chaos. It's not like you have shit going on at home and you can sort of put it aside, get to work, and you're like, all right, I'm at work now. I can just focus on this, because then you're just getting fucking shit at work as well.
It was.
So it's just sort of falling down around you.
Yeah. So
everywhere.
Just broken up with the mum, got my kid, don't have a job, working for free, driving from Chadstone to Moonee Ponds every day to read the diary, which you open it up and it says everything you did wrong the day before, and the bonsais, and the bike.
And the fucking bonsais.
Yeah. So I'd met this guy, Christy. He was a tattooer, and I'd been tattooed off him as well. And I just needed to tattoo. I couldn't accept this loss.
Right.
So I went to him with a folio of what I had already done at the other shop. He was like, yeah, man, you can tattoo here. And I was like, what? And dude, instantly it was so much better. It was called Peril. It was like they sell like goth clothing and records.
Right up your alley.
I was already going to the goth clubs at the time.
Where was Peril? Was that Collingwood or something?
Just off Elizabeth Street
in
a little alleyway.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And I remember doing a tattoo there, and I did a little wiggle in a line, and I'm used to like the death.
Oh, yeah.
I did a wiggle, and I'm like, oh, fuck. And after the tattoo, I apologize. I'm like, sorry, man, I'm so sorry. He goes, dude, it's just a tattoo.
Yeah.
I was like, what? He goes, it's just a tattoo. No worries. It was good. I'm like, fuck, I didn't know this was an option. Are you serious? And I just felt I feel like I improved overnight with just having that.
Just having that weight off your shoulders.
Yeah, man. It's just a tattoo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, we're not human photocopiers. There's so many margins for error. Human error itself, whether it be ours or, a customer moving, anything like that. I mean, shit can go wrong. But I think like it's how you deal with it as opposed to, freaking out and being like, oh my God, this is the end of the world. It's like, all right, that didn't go to plan. What are we going to do about it,
Yeah.
And having that pressure that you had during your apprenticeship at that first place, you wouldn't be able to make those decisions You'd be freaking out way too much. And that second place where it's a little bit more relaxed, it's a bit more forgiving, it's just a happier environment to work in. You're probably thinking, that's okay. Take a breath.
Yeah,
what am I going to do about this?
Yeah. It was like, I couldn't believe it. It was like two guys, Christy and Zoltan. I reckon I owe them my career.
Right.
Not the other girl. She made me quit. These guys got me back into it. And like Zoltan.
What was like the gap between quitting there and starting at Peril?
Not much. Probably about a month or two.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Did a few home jobs in the time. Anyway, I won't get into that.
Yeah.
Like, should we? Nah.
Let's get into it.
So I was living in there's a big villa in Kensington. Because at the time I got a part-time job at Dracula's.
Right, that's
So-
is that like a cabaret bar restaurant type thing?
Yep. So I was working at Dracula's, and this house was full of guys that worked at Dracula's.
Oh, goth house.
It was the Dracula's house.
Yes.
And it was one of those big villas where if you open the windows, you can walk out onto the balcony.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was summer, and I had a setup on the balcony,
No way.
and I was tattooing on the balcony outside in summer. And I was like, fuck yeah.
Living the dream.
Yeah. Goth clubs and Draculas and tattoos.
Yeah.
So much fun.
And you must have felt guilty about doing that if you still went to pursue a shop.
Yeah, I did. Because that didn't come straight away. So I quit and I was like, oh, fuck. I'm done. I was working at Dracula's, but people were like, hey man, do you have your tattoo gear here?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes.
Yeah, twisting that arm.
So it eventually became one tattoo, then a second tattoo, then a little setup on the balcony. Yeah. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to go speak to Christy. I'll see what he says.
Yeah, sick. So, and how long were you at Peril for?
I was at Peril for, I feel like maybe a year.
Yeah.
And what was happening was Minty was living in St Kilda. Mm-hmm. I was living in Kensington.
How far away is Kensington?
It's just out of the city. But
Okay,
but I didn't have a car, so I had to go. Now I didn't have a car, so I had to go train into the city, then train into the city, then a tram to St Kilda.
Right.
And at the tram stop was Body Gallery,
Right.
where we are now.
It is currently Man's Ruin.
Yeah.
So before it was Man's Ruin, it was Body Gallery.
Yeah. And then I saw that there, and I was like, huh. It's like right next to I was walking distance to my daughter's house.
Yeah.
And I just spoke to her, and I was like, oh, so, yeah, you looking for a tattooer?
Yeah.
And she was.
Sick.
Yeah. Because Peril wasn't a street shop. It was my own.
private.
It was my own clients. It was like underground. Okay. No one really walked past. It was like my own clients. This was a street shop.
Yeah.
So yeah, first street shop.
And when I think of Pete Pav, I think quality street shop tattooing.
Yeah.
You know, like the way that you are now, it's, walk in, unfazed. What's that? You want a fucking hectic mandala on your elbow? Take a seat.
I can do that.
Totally. But so that's...
You want a unicorn riding a dolphin?
Fucking
Sure.
a flaming unicorn. Yeah.
I've got your back.
But that would have been your introduction to street shop tattooing,
it was.
right?
That was.
So there must have been something about that which you really liked in order to make Man's Ruin a street shop.
Yeah.
What was it about the fly by the seat of your pants, the sort of being put on the spot that you liked about street shop
just like
tattooing?
that organic process of someone coming in and going, hey, I want this. All right. And there's the challenge of, I wonder if I can make that work.
Yeah.
Like I still remember this one time, this girl was a backpacker. She came in. She wanted a kangaroo riding a fixie, drinking red wine.
Fuck yeah.
So yes, I can do that.
Done.
And I did.
Yeah. I don't know.
There's no flash for that.
No.
There isn't.
If only.
Yeah.
But I like that. I like the spontaneity and the thinking on your feet.
Yeah.
Doing stuff, and then that person walks out of the shop a happy chappy.
And I also think there's so many people only pushing their own product.
Yep.
Who tattoos the people that don't want that? Who tattoos the people that want like a little souvenir tattoo?
Yeah.
Who tattoos those?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I got told by Mike T at Blue Lady a while ago. We're having drinks and we're talking about who are we to judge what's a cool tattoo, you know? And he said that someone probably works a shit job that they fucking hate for fuck all money to save up weeks, months for a little shitty tattoo that, you know, isn't a traditional eagle on their chest or anything, you know? It's whatever they want is cool to them and they've saved up and it means something to them. So who are we to be like, no, that's shit, get a panther, you know?
Because you see their face drop when you go, oh, do you mind if I change it slightly?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh.
And at the end of the day, it's a job like any other job. If someone comes in, they have a problem, we give them a solution.
Yeah.
And it's customer service. You want them to be as happy as possible.
Definitely.
And I think that's more rewarding when, you know, you could do like a little infinity symbol with some feathers and name and all that sort of shit.
Yeah.
And you do that for a lady that's lost a kid or something, and the look on her face when she's so stoked at the end of it is so much more rewarding, I think, than doing a panther on some ungrateful fucking kid that walks out going, yeah, sick, I'll add it to my collection, you know? Like, don't get me wrong, I love panthers, but it's really rewarding being able to do that sort of stuff for people.
Yeah.
And I feel like you do that day in, day out for people, you know? You give people that experience.
Man. Yeah. The penny really dropped for me when I was at Spider Murphy's getting tattooed off Stuart Cripwell and Theo Mindell.
Spider Murphy
in San Francisco. I saw Stuart Cripwell doing like this biohazard tribal thing, and I was like, whoa, you're Stuart Cripwell and you're doing tribal.
Yeah, dude.
And I was like, huh. And then they were talking about it and they said the same thing. It's just tattoos.
I had the exact same experience. A few years ago, we came down to Melbourne and Liv was getting tattooed at the Old Blue Lady by a guest artist. And while we were there, I met Mason Hall.
Yeah,
who
legend.
Absolute legend.
Yeah.
His tattoos are sick and he's just the best guy.
He's the best.
And he was sitting around just kicking it. You know, it was getting late and these three middle-aged women came in and, you know what, like a group of middle-aged women is like, you know, they're pretty full on. And they wanted matching whatever it was, like little sort of what most people would consider just shitty little tattoos. And he was like, yeah, grab a seat, no worries, you know, and just knocked him out of the park. And I'd been a big fan of Mason's work for a while.
Definitely.
And I'm like, because like I came from a smaller place, I came from Morga. So seeing someone like that, someone that I looked up to, just being like, no worries, I've got this, handling it, and giving them the best fucking time of their life.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's really cool. And I sort of thought before I moved here, well, before that moment, that all these like rock star tattooers in Melbourne, you know, they're just doing the cool shit. I'm like, man, I want to grow up and I would just want to be doing the cool shit day in, day out. And seeing that, I'm like, even the cool guys, even Mason Hall does that, you know, like he does that sort of stuff and he does it well and they have the best time and that's what it's about. And I really think about that all the time.
Yeah, definitely. Excuse me. It's hard to believe, hard to forget that because you're looking at the Instagram, and on the Instagram it's all just the cool tattoos.
Yeah.
But these guys are doing other tattoos as well.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that, and I feel like the people that don't and the people that think they're above doing things, you know, they're not the ones that are going to give people a good experience.
Yeah.
I think that's like one of my favorite parts about you is that sounded almost sexual. One of my favorite...
I know your favorite part. You said you wouldn't tell.
Is that you give people an experience, and I think that's just as important as the tattoo itself. You know, they come in, maybe a little shot of tequila, you know.
One or two.
They sit down, and they have a fucking great time there. And that's what it's about.
Definitely. And it's like... It's probably their one tattoo experience, maybe their second or third only tattoo experience.
Yeah.
We're tattooing all day, every day. We forget that these people are going to go away and this could be their only experience.
And they are so nervous walking in the door. They're so intimidated by tattoo shops.
Yeah.
And they come in and the last thing they want is some like pretentious wanker.
Definitely.
You know, coming in thinking they're too good for whatever they want.
Yeah.
Coming in and being like, cool.
Sure.
You know, let's party.
I've got your bird silhouettes.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. And I'm going to fucking do them the best I can. And you're going to be stoked and you're going to tell your friends and then your friends are going to come.
And they'll get the bird silhouettes coming off a feather.
And then it just gets out of hand. It's like a back piece of feathers and birds.
Yeah. And it'll be the best damn feather you've ever had.
But do you think that people, I feel within tattooing, and it's probably the same in a lot of careers, ego just gets in the way?
Yeah.
How, like, was there anyone that you sort of met, like you had that experience at Spider Murphy's with Stuart Cripwell doing the tribal biomech or whatever. Was there any sort of other experiences where you saw someone that you really admired that just didn't have an ego and sort of like a bit of a formula for how you've sort of based your career?
Definitely. I've been tattooed from Deno a few times.
Deno worked at
Spanish
Chapel or
guy.
guested at Chapel?
When I first got tattooed off him, he was in Sydney. He hadn't been to Melbourne yet.
Okay.
And it was like the best experience ever, man. He was just the friendliest dude, and I don't know, he was like singing along in Spanish while he was tattooing me. And then I think a few years after that, he came to Melbourne.
Yep.
And I booked in to get tattooed off him again, and I went up to see him while he was tattooing his client before me, and he was doing a walk-in.
Fuck yeah.
He was doing Roman numerals.
That's so good.
Yeah. Best damn Roman numerals ever.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
And I was like, what? Dano doing Roman numerals?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So by seeing someone like that you really looked up to and admired, just doing the walk-in tats.
Well, it's more about how he treated me and how I felt leaving there.
Yeah.
And also, both me and you, we've been to Johnny Dollar a few times.
Johnny is the man.
What an experience. If I could bottle that, and if I could have everyone leave my shop the way we feel when we leave Johnny's, that would be amazing.
Johnny is, in his 70s?
Yep.
He's been tattooing since the 60s.
Since the 60s.
And he is probably one of the best experiences I've ever had getting tattooed.
Yeah.
Leaving there, I had, you took me, you've been 10 times or
Heaps,
something.
yeah.
The first time going there, I left with the biggest grin on my face and just excited. This guy's 70. He's been tattooing since the 60s and he fucking loves his job.
Yeah.
He could have retired whenever, but he doesn't because he loves it.
He still loves it, hey?
And I want to be that guy. I want to love my dog that much,
The way he loves tattooing.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And he just freehands it. Doesn't even freehand it, just free machines it.
Straight on with the machine.
You don't know what you're getting.
Yep.
You just see this guy starts tattooing. You're like, all right, well, this is going to be good.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Johnny, what was the last tattoo you got? Last time needle went through the glove. He's so gnarly.
Yeah, he's so good.
He's just the sweetest man ever.
Yeah.
And, man, it would be a dream to get him on this podcast.
Oh, man, yeah.
I feel like I need to go a few more times and maybe just sort of build a bit more of a rapport with him. But, man, he's got so many stories, hey?
Pulls out the bourbon, puts on the country.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, my God.
That was amazing. 11 o'clock, he whips out, American honey or some shit. And we're like, well, I guess this is us now.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But, yeah, even Johnny, man, going to someone like him and getting those experiences like that, getting tattooed by Mikey at our shop, another prime example of someone that just kills the experience in a good way.
Yeah, definitely. Like those days when Mikey isn't in the shop, noticeably different day.
Yeah.
It's like a quiet day. We're happy. We're fun.
Yeah.
But the Mikey just amps it up.
Yeah, when I got tattooed by him, when I met him years ago, I got tattooed by him at a convention, booked in with him ages beforehand, and I left feeling like we're best friends.
Yeah.
And now that I work with him every day, he treats every customer like that. I was like, fuck, everyone gets this treatment.
But he's everyone's best friend.
Yeah, I think that's really hard.
It's genuine though. He doesn't put that on.
No.
It's totally genuine.
Yeah, I find that really hard. I feel like if there's something on my mind or if I'm just having a shitty day for whatever or for any reason, if I find someone to be a little bit difficult, then I sort of, the charm turns off and I get a little bit blunt and it's something I'm really conscious of. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what it is. It's an incredible character trait for people to have. And I think you have it. You and Mikey worked together before Man's Ruin.
Yeah.
You guys were at Voodoo.
Yep.
which is a shop that has churned out so many epic tattooers over the years.
That was actually a lot of fun. But me and Mikey at Food, and it was like a real busy walk-in shop.
Yeah.
And we sort of we honed our sales skills, you could say.
That's it.
And like, man, they would come in and next thing you know, they're getting tattooed without even knowing it.
No one's leaving without a tattoo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just like, it was like a little tattoo factory, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's probably another thing that you was Body Gallery, because it was a walk-in shop.
It wasn't that busy.
It wasn't that busy. So when you got to Voodoo, there was obviously this new work ethic that you picked up from working there.
I went from Body Gallery, I went to the other shop in Burwood.
Right, the shop that shan't be named.
Yes.
Yeah.
We went there.
Yep.
I'm just not naming it in case there's other stories that come up.
Right.
Yeah. So I went to the other shop.
Yep.
I was there for a while.
Yep.
And then from there, I went to Voodoo.
Yeah. So, yeah, Voodoo, definitely being busy and being sort of like, if I want to pay bills, if I want to eat, if I want to provide for my kid,
Dude.
I need to do everything.
Yeah.
Coming in that door, no one's leaving without a tattoo.
Yeah. Used to rock up with no work. Easy.
Right.
You can
This
do,
is pre-Instagram, right?
yes. Oh, I think it had just started.
Right.
It just
No
started.
one was heavily relying on
No,
it.
you
though.
weren't relying on it. It just started by the time I got to Voodoo. But yeah, you rock up to work, nothing booked in. Someone comes in, what do you want? All right, I guess I got to draw it now.
Yeah.
You would do like 4 tattoos a day
Yeah.
that you had to draw on the day.
Right. So that's big.
Yeah.
That's so good. And sort of, do you think like with tattooing now or just anything now, not even tattooing, that there's so many people that are just too precious?
Man, yeah.
The snowflakes syndrome.
The snowflakes. Like,
Because when I think of you...
email me and give me a week to draw it so I can get it ready for you to tattoo it.
Yeah. I mean, there's that when you're busy and it requires that, but when you got nothing on, it's, I mean, everyone has a different process, I guess, but...
Or when it's like tattoos they don't want to do. Like say if you haven't tattooed for a few days and someone comes in with an infinity symbol, you go, oh, I don't want to do an infinity symbol. Why not?
Do you have bills?
It's your
Do
job.
it.
You're a tattooer.
That's what they want.
Tattoo.
Totally.
You don't, I think so many people these days don't realize you don't need to post every tattoo you do.
No.
You're allowed to tattoo someone for them
Yeah.
and not post it.
I don't even post half the fun ones I do.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I think I'm pretty bad at Instagram.
Yeah.
But I think
I enjoy not posting.
you enjoy it.
No, I enjoy not posting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm down to 1 a week now posting when I remember.
Yeah. It's something to look forward to at the end of your week. But I think like your sort of story of just the really tumultuous sort of start to tattooing that you had and sticking it out and sort of backing yourself.
Yeah.
Especially when you did doubt yourself and you did doubt whether it was for you.
Yeah, man. I even got to the stage where, this is pretty embarrassing, but I'm going to say it.
Juicy.
As you know, it was a long drive to Moonee Ponds.
Yeah.
I used to try to use, I'll do anything to work this out. I used to try to use like positive affirmations and stuff, like repeat mantras to myself on the drive to when I got there, things would work out.
What were like some of the mantras that you say to yourself?
As you know, I'm pretty forgetful.
Yep.
And I have a slight issue with colour.
Yes. Yes. Pete is colourblind.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so good that bottles of ink have the names of the colours on the labels.
I love just refine my palette down. I'm just like black, red, yellow.
Yeah.
Maybe blue if you're lucky.
If you're lucky.
Depends what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
So my palette's refined.
Yeah.
So I can't fuck that up.
But it's become your like, you can tell a Pete Pav tattoo.
Yeah. It's out of necessity though.
Totally. Which I think is cool.
Yeah.
You know, no one realises that.
Yeah. But she used to give me so much shit for colours, not being able to see colours because I couldn't. I just couldn't. And I couldn't work it out. And I'd make mistakes and then she would get shitty and she wasn't accommodating. It wasn't like, oh, how about you just do this? And my forgetfulness, like it's...
I feel like that's another,
I've got a goldfish memory,
thing
man.
that you overcame as well.
Yeah.
Being colorblind. I feel like for a lot of people that we, I really want to be a tattooist, but I'm colorblind, so I guess it's just something I'll never do. It's just another excuse. You're like, fuck it.
Yeah.
It says green on the bottle. Whatever green is.
How hard can it be? Just put it in. I don't use green.
Yeah.
Green looks like red.
Green looks like
Sometimes the red looks like green while I'm tattooing, and I'm like, no, but it's red. Keep going.
Yeah, man. That's so crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, all those things, man. It's sort of that concept of backing yourself and having that thick skin to sort of overcome all those things and push through all those things. Even when you did have those moments of doubt, I feel like that's sort of rare now. It was probably rare then.
I've heard of people wanting to get apprenticeships and being offered them and like, oh, it's too far to drive or it's too far to go, so
work it out.
Yeah. Or they get the apprenticeship and things go hard, and so they email other shops whinging about their past employer.
Yeah.
Here's a hint: never bag out your employer when you're approaching for a job.
Yeah, because then they'll be like, cool, I guess I'm next, it blows my mind, man, what people do or what they don't do and what they don't stick out. And they're sort of, they'll get a job and it'll be hard. And I feel like any apprenticeship, even though a tattoo apprenticeship's different to like a building or a plumbing apprenticeship, it's sort of, you start at the bottom.
Yeah,
you're not going to do
definitely.
the cool shit straight away. You need to be the bottom of the food chain and work your way up just in any other job.
Yeah.
And by doing that, I feel like you build a greater respect for what it is that you're doing. And then when you finally get to where you want to be and then someone else is the apprentice, you also respect that person a lot more too.
Definitely.
I feel like our apprentice, or your apprentice, Louis, at the shop, Louis is a fucking hard worker.
Yeah.
And a very similar sort of...
similar story as well.
Similar circumstance to you. He had a young kid, he came from England and he's, 35 or something?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, was that part of the reason why you sort of apprenticed Louis?
You
saw a lot of similarities in him.
He'd been getting tattooed off me. I've tattooed him a few times.
Yeah.
And he talked about getting an apprenticeship, and he was probably 33, I think, when he was approached me.
Yeah.
And I'd already tattooed him. And I was like, I saw a bit of myself in him.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't give you an apprenticeship, but if you come to the shop, you can get your foot in the door, you can mop the floor and do the tubes for free, of course.
Yep. I feel like initially that's a way to, is he serious? Does he want this?
Yeah.
Which is just like you,
And
does he want this?
He's got a kid. He's got 2 jobs. He was coming and cleaning our shop for free.
Yep.
And doing tubes, and then going to his other job at night.
Yeah.
He did that for, I reckon it was about a year and a half.
Yeah.
Again, for free. Sorry. Yeah. Too much jacks. So he was doing that for about a year and a half. And then eventually I was like, fuck. Let's give it to him.
It's sort of, I feel like
the
people that go for an apprenticeship and they get a position like that, whether they're doing it for free or for not, if they sort of prove themselves invaluable to the shop, you would be at a disadvantage if they were like, thank you, and get an apprenticeship at another shop.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, fuck, I would be really bummed if he went somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because all the time I was telling him, you're not going to get an apprenticeship. It was like a Fight Club with Meatloaf.
Yeah, dude.
He goes, fuck off, your tits are too big. It was like that. It's like Meatloaf is out the front of the house trying to get in, and we're telling him he's not getting in, but he's still waiting.
Yeah, man.
And that was Louis. So eventually I was like, yeah, you can come.
Yeah. Well, like, what do you think? I feel like because you and Louis obviously had very similar beginnings to tattooing, you sort of wanted to give him the apprenticeship that you wish you had? Or because obviously doing the coming in for free, doing that, show that you want it was very similar.
I guess it just made me,
one.
I haven't really thought about it that way, but I guess it did make me more compassionate.
Yeah, you can empathise with him.
I'm not a big fan of the hard apprenticeship.
Yeah.
Like I think, you should do the cleaning for free for about a year.
Yep.
Definitely. But I'm not hard. You know, I'm not hard. I'm a fucking softie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm the opposite to hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it's necessary these days.
No, and I think because
To a point.
because it's so competitive that everyone wants it. How bad do you want it? You know,
But when he asks me advice on drawings, brutally honest.
yeah,
Like, I'll say it's shit if it's shit. There's no sugarcoating. But you can say that without being an asshole.
and also by like the difference between Louis' apprenticeship and my apprenticeship was, I think. I can't remember when I exactly started. I think I was like 20 when I officially started an apprenticeship and wasn't just the shop guy or something. But whenever Dan would sort of give me criticism or feedback or whatever, I feel like a lot of the time I took it personally.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. It was never intended personally. It was just being young and thinking I know better and all that sort of stuff and not knowing fucking anything. Whereas Louis being 35 and having worked a lot of jobs up till now, all that sort of stuff, cops it on the chin and he's like, I want to get better. This is how I get better.
I say some fucked up shit to him and he just cops it. Like, I'll rip his drawings apart.
Yeah.
And he just cops it. Okay. Thank you, Pete.
But like how, like even in the
But
last...
like a man, he doesn't really...
Dude.
Yeah.
And he takes it on board and he does shit with it. And even last year, like the progression...
Wow.
It's insane. Like looking at his stuff now to a year ago.
Yeah. I reckon that eagle he did, that was his turning point.
Yeah, I think it's just that maturity that he has that a lot of younger people don't have. And that's normal. That's just in anything. Like younger people think that they know more than they do. And, you know, once you get a bit more life experience and all that sort of stuff, you realise that these people are trying to help you. You know, they want you to do better for you and for the shop. So they're not saying things coming from a mean place. They're not attacking you personally. They're saying it because they want the best for you, and he gets
improve.
that.
Yeah,
and it works.
Yeah,
you know,
he's come so far
by taking that shit on board, man.
Yeah,
and I think, it would have been similar for you, but except you didn't have that sort of like somewhat nurturing environment.
No. Man, but I've drawn my whole life. Even when I was working factories, I remember in my lunch break, I'd sit down and draw in my lunch break, and then the whistle goes. Beep. Back to work, feeding that fucking machine water all day. And I would come home. And as soon as I get home, I would remember going on the kitchen table and just drawing all day. It's just what I wanted to do.
What would you draw? Tattoo stuff?
Oh, no, because I wanted to be a cartoonist.
Yes, me too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was just drawing like Spider-Man and I would draw like robots with heaps of chrome and all that sort of shit.
It's really interesting. Last week, Tadaro said almost the same thing. He would get comic books and copy frames out of the comic, like just copy the thing. And it's weird. You did it. He did it. I did it.
Wow.
You know, all of us. You know, we're just
that's bizarre.
Comic books. We're sort of like that sort of introduction to a lot of us.
Yeah.
That's so sick.
Yeah. I just remember like spending so much time on the proportions of Spider-Man and just getting like the web and like the knees in the right shape.
Dude, I loved drawing Spider-Man's mask.
Yes.
Just drawing the web on his mask.
How expressive the eyes are when they go really big.
Yeah. I drew Spider-Man more than any other comic character.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what like, if you could go back and change the way that you apprenticed, would you?
No, I don't think so.
You'd do everything the same again?
I reckon it was worth it. It really was, because tattooing's hard.
Yeah.
Dealing with annoying customers is hard, and you've got to just smile and you can't let them know that you're annoyed. You got to still give them that good experience.
Yeah.
And I reckon it really helped. If I got a softer apprenticeship, I might not have been able to deal with shit the way I can now.
Right. So if you had a softer apprenticeship, you'd be a little bit more precious about things.
I feel like it, yeah.
Yeah, right. So it definitely hardened the shell. It thickened the skin.
Yeah. Like you said, I'm a fortress now. It's so hard. It's so hard to shake me. Yeah. I get shook. I do get shook.
Yeah.
But it's a big one when it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I reckon I've seen you stressed maybe once in the entire time that I've known you, which is a while now.
Yeah.
Like, is there a mentality or just sort of like a outlook on life that you you carry that you in order to avoid stress?
I think it was when I realised worrying about a problem isn't going to fix it.
True.
Or it doesn't matter how much you stress or worry about a certain situation, it's still there. So why put yourself through that anguish?
Yeah.
Like, why do it?
Yeah. I used to be a pretty anxious kid, and even at uni I was pretty anxious about things, or, you know, like something would go wrong and I'd sort of panic about stuff. And it wasn't really until I started tattooing where I'm like, I can't afford to be doing this.
Yeah.
Because I'd be doing a tattoo in the first year of my apprenticeship, and I'd do something wrong.
Yeah.
Something wouldn't go to plan.
Yeah.
And I'd start freaking out. I'd start sweating bullets. And I'm like, fuck, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And it was just getting worse and worse and worse, like in my head. And I'm like, this can't be good for the customer. You know, like they're probably seeing me freak out right now. And then got to the point where I had that same sort of epiphany where it was like, you know, this isn't fixing it.
No.
What am I going to do about it? You know, and there's a million ways to skin a cat.
Yeah.
You know, any problem, there's infinite solutions. And one of those solutions that I sort of realized was just ask for help.
Yeah, true.
You know, and I feel like a lot of people are too sort of proud or too scared to ask for help, because asking for help sort of admits defeat.
Definitely.
So did you sort of like...
I didn't ask for help.
I
had no one to ask.
True.
I had no family here. I'd broken up with my daughter's mum.
Yeah.
I was living...
you didn't even have that home base to go home at the end of the day and sort of get that.
So I had one room in a house of someone that I didn't even know, and my daughter had a bed in my room.
Whoa.
So when she stayed with me half the week, she would sleep in my room, and we just pretty much stayed in that room.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It was hard, man.
Yeah.
And it was that that critical mass sort of thing. It was like, okay, it doesn't matter how much you stress, you're not going to fix the problem.
Yep.
So it was almost one of those fake it till you make it sort of things.
Definitely.
You act like you're okay.
Yep.
When you're not.
Which isn't a great mentality to adopt in general, but I feel like in that instance it does make sense.
Because it actually got to a point where you forget which part is acting and which part isn't. And I just became... Maybe my goldfish memory has a lot to do with it. Because
you forget why you're stressed.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, I'm okay now.
But I think in what you were saying, like fake it till you make it, it's sort of, if I don't put faith and trust in myself and what I'm doing, then how can a customer, how can my employer?
Yeah, and it's just as simple as if I act happy or if I'm happy, I am happier. It sounds stupid, but when you dwell on shit and try to see the negatives, it actually really affects you. It makes you a more cynical, just grumpy person.
Yeah, one of my problems earlier on was I'd get into these sort of hypothetical snowball situations where I'm like, oh, this isn't going to plan, that's going to lead to this, that's going to lead to this. It's sort of like, that domino effect of consequences to a pretty insignificant action. And then I'd panic. And then because I'm panicking about the shit that's 10 steps ahead, that's not even going to happen. So it's sort of like, just nipping that stuff in the bud, fixing it early.
Yeah.
Do you think it's easier said than done, or do you think anyone can do that?
I feel like that's a double-sided sword. It is easier said than done, and anyone can do it, but I guess it's complex in how simple it is.
Right.
Yeah, you can go just fuck it and worry about it later. As Lydia knows, I'm a big one of I'll worry about it later.
Yeah. That's tomorrow Pete's problem.
Yeah, I'll worry about tomorrow Pete will worry about that. If it happens, then I'll worry about it.
Yeah.
But not everyone can do that.
What do you have advice to people that sort of just overanalyze, overthink, and sort of catastrophize things in their own head?
The way I sort of started thinking of it as like a mathematical equation. Everything's like an equation. So to solve an equation, first you've got to simplify the equation, right?
Right.
So with life problems, you've got to simplify your life problems and you break them right down. And once you break them right down to the simplicity, it's like nothing. And you go,
Right.
Okay.
So you might feel like you have all this stuff going on all at once, but when you break it down, there's sort of one thing that's causing all those things.
Yeah.
And then once you sort of resolve that issue, the other things work themselves
Yeah.
out.
In saying that worked for me though.
Yeah.
And I have no memory.
True. Same.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
I
Pretty
like
good
that.
way of looking at it. It's
Yeah,
sort of like, all
just
right, well,
simplify.
I'm stressed about this. What's causing this stress?
Yeah.
All right, it's this thing that's going on in my life. What can I do about that?
Yeah. Or is that really an issue, or am I making it an issue?
Right. Yeah. And then just sort of, everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And
And it generally is, man. Like the things you were worrying about last year, last month, I bet you don't even remember them now.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even know what it was. But back then it must have been like such a life or death situation. But now it's like, oh, what was that? I don't even know.
I have this thing, I follow like this motivational sort of, that Gary Vee
Yeah, I
dude?
love that guy.
Dude, I fucking love Gary Vee. I heard someone ask him, I can't remember what the question was exactly, but basically what he said to them, he goes, let's say most people these days live to be 80,
Yep.
right? You're 20. You can have absolutely everything in your life go
Yeah.
completely wrong, hit rock
Yeah.
bottom over the next 6 years, and you've still got like 3/4 of your life to go to sort that out,
Yeah.
to flourish, to go on and do better things. It's like when you think of it like that, it seems pretty insignificant.
Yeah.
Now you can get yourself back on track and do all those things, which I think you did.
Yeah.
I think that's a prime example. Being 30, everything falling apart, and starting a brand new career path. I feel like even being at 30 and deciding to go after what you want to go after.
Yeah.
A lot of people sort of finish school and they think that's the time to go do it.
Yeah.
Whereas, no, you sat on that for a while. Yeah, you're a
definitely.
bit late out of the gates, but you still were like, no, I'm going to fucking do this, and well, you did.
Yeah, man. Did. But back on that Gary Vee, I love his aggressive politeness, you could call it.
Yes, aggressive politeness.
Oh, I just love that guy. I love watching his videos, hey.
Yeah.
He's so good.
I just go on one of those benders like before I go to sleep, and I'm like fucking 2 hours deep in Gary Vee videos, and they're all like 30 seconds long. I'm like, I've been watching this for a long time.
Yeah. He calls people out. So good.
Yeah, I mean, I think it comes back to he's a prime example of not making excuses, which I guess is the general theme of this episode of the podcast, is not making excuses about things and just sort of going out, working out how to do it, and then committing.
And it's easy to play the victim and woe is me. I can't do this. It's not going to happen because, fuck that.
Yeah.
Do it.
There's ways around everything.
Why not? Why can't it
The
happen?
Paralympics exist.
Yeah, exactly.
It wouldn't exist if everyone was like, woe is me, I have no legs.
Yeah. And when I first started trying to get the apprenticeship, I was one of those people where it was like, I guess it's not me. Good things happen to other people, but they don't happen to me. That sort of shit.
Yes.
And that does enter your mind. And I was a bit victim for a while.
Yeah, well, I guess it's not easy having that constant sort of rejection going door to door and just being told no repeatedly. Because, you'd be like, oh, what am I doing wrong? Is it me or whatever? I can see how it would be easy to start to think that.
Yeah. Just got to stick to it.
Yeah,
Depends how hard you want it, really.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good things come to those who wait.
Yeah. But like I said, I love the shit experiences, like Daz, what he said to me. I fucking love that. That was so cool. Like looking back now, come back when you got sleeves, mate. I'm like, yes, I love you.
You just walk out and you're like, that was gnarly as fuck.
What a legend.
Well, what's probably like the gnarliest experience you've had?
Mate. I don't know if people know about Jed Hill. Jed Hill's like this
He's an icon.
old school tattooer, used to tattoo at Flinders Street Tattoo Shop, and he's a unit. He's a massive man. And I went to get tattooed off him. Me and Lydia drove there to Ballarat back when I had the Valiant.
Nice. That's a beautiful
He
car.
gave me shit about my car as well.
What? That is.
Wasn't low enough. It was,
You had like this jet black, beautiful Valiant. It was fucking sick. It's the closest thing you can get to Kit from Knight Rider without being Kit from Knight Rider.
Man,
And it wasn't low enough.
it was that low. I had to slow down over speed humps. It would scrape.
To like crab walk over the top
It
of
would
them.
scrape over the speed humps. And you reckon, you could probably bring that front down a little bit. Like, what?
Who is this guy?
Yeah. So I go there. Things are going really good. This is going to have to be the edited version. I'm not going to do the coffee bit.
All right.
Okay, this is the edited version.
Right.
So I go there and things are going really good. What do you want? Get a panther? So he starts drawing this panther and he's like, so who are you working for now? And I told him, and this guy was a bit of we'll call him a shady character.
Yes.
He goes, oh, okay. And then I went silent and he got so shitty with me. And
He got angry at you for working for that guy?
I'll explain why later.
You'd never met Jed Hill before this experience?
No, but we've had, we were liking each other's photos on Facebook.
Okay.
Instagram wasn't a thing yet.
Yep.
So on Facebook, he'd liked my photos and I lost my shit when he liked my photo. I'm like, oh my God, it's Jed Hill.
Yeah, that
Holy
fanboy moment.
Yeah, totally fanboying. So we were chatting a bit online and I went to see him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So told him who I'm working for and he full like head down. You could see he was angry and he's like fucking drawing. And I'm like, oh. And I explained to him, I'm like, just letting you know, mate, it's just a job for me.
Yeah.
I was like, I've got a kid and I need to pay the bills and this is just a job so I can pay the bills.
Yeah, definitely.
Things got better instantly. He totally understood that.
Yeah.
And so we're just like laughing and carrying on. And he tattooed this panther on me. It's like the size of my calf.
Yeah.
In around about half an hour, 45 minutes.
Just drilled you.
Smashed it. I think it was with a round as well, a round shader.
Oh my God.
Just smashed it. And I was like, awesome. He goes,
I feel like it wouldn't have felt awesome.
yeah. Okay. So what do you want for that? How much? He goes, I want you to tattoo me now.
Oh my God.
I was like,
Talk about pressure.
I was like, you're what? And I think I might have actually said, but you're Jed Hill. I think I did that. He goes, I want you to tattoo me now. I'm like, all right, what do you want? He goes, I want a dagger. And he points to that part on his hand just above his thumb. He had this small gap. His arms are like just faded, just like blue arms. So it's like mush
right.
tattoo.
So like starting almost at the wrist, going down the thumb, like that sort of.
That's the only gap he had left pretty much. I want you to tattoo me a dagger right there.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, do you have any paper? And he goes, what are you? He goes, stop being a weak cunt. He goes, just draw it on. I'm like, oh, I can't. Can I get some paper? He goes, stop being a pussy and just fucking draw it on.
Yeah, just freehand a fucking symmetrical dagger, you little weak cunt.
And I'm like, oh, no. Okay, so I draw this dagger on and I'm like, I don't like it. Do you have any method? He goes, stop it. Stop being a weak cunt.
Oh, so your first draft with like the Sharpie or whatever.
Didn't like it. It was a shit dagger. It was a shit dagger.
And he's just fucking
Love
go
it.
for
He goes, just draw it. It's just a dagger. I'm like, come on, let me. He goes, no, that's it. And he sets me up one machine. I think it had like a 7-round shader or maybe a small liner in it.
Yeah.
One machine. And I'm like, can I get another one with a mag, please? He goes, what are you? You're just so, just fucking do it. It's just a dagger.
God.
You got to appreciate the gravity of this is my first time meeting Jed Hill, one of my idols.
And he's getting you to tattoo him.
Getting to tattoo Jed Hill.
Yeah.
I want to give him the best tattoo I can give him.
Totally.
I've free-handed this dagger. And I'm like, please, sir, may I have another? Just fucking do it. Okay. So I do the whole thing off my shitty drawing with his machine with the shitty needle. He goes, oh, look at that. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And he takes it over to the like a wash trough and he washes it and he's scrubbing the fuck out of it so hard with this paper towel. Oh, look at that. I love it. It's beautiful. Like, oh, mate, that whole experience shat myself.
Yeah.
But loved it. Again, on the drive home, I was like, oh my God, that was so good. It was just like, I don't know. I felt like that might have been what it would have felt like to tattoo back in the day.
Yeah.
Back with those guys.
I feel like just that added pressure of one tattooing a Australian tattoo icon.
Yeah.
But even just tattooing another tattooer, there's that pressure because
Yeah.
they know if you're making mistakes. You know, they know what's going on.
I missed a bit.
Oh, no.
He got me to take my shirt off. He took his shirt off and he made me take my shirt off. He goes, I'll tell you what, I'll induct you into the Society of Shirtless Tattooers. So
At what point did you kiss?
No. Much after. He's a lovely kisser. No.
Man, that is so crazy. I remember the first time I tattooed a tattooer. I hadn't been tattooing that long, and I tattooed Benji Tobin from up in the Gold Coast, and he was down, and he was friends with my boss Dan, and I was just sitting out the front of the shop, not doing nothing. I'd finished early that day, just sitting there, and he came up behind me, and he was like, "What do you have on the Savo?" And I'm like, "Oh, nothing." And he goes, "Oh, you want to do a tattoo?" And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, sure. Like, well, what do you want?" And he's like, "I want to clip a ship like right up here, like right near his dick, like right up high on his thigh." It's just like tricky to tattoo anyway. And I was like, "Oh, yep." And he goes, "And I want the name of like the ship that I think it was his grandparents came to Australia on or something like that." And I was like, "Yeah, okay." And then he was just sort of like sitting behind me, and I felt so much pressure, and I was shaking, and I was dropping things, and I'm like, I feel like I can't use a reference.
Oh.
I feel if I use a reference, I don't know, like Benji's an epic tattooer, and he can draw like a motherfucker. And I'm like, if I use a reference, he'll think I'm shit.
Yep.
And
how'd it go?
I think he turned his back for a minute, and I used a reference. But tattooing it, I was so scared.
Yeah.
I was so nervous, and he was lovely. Like he said he was stoked on it, and he's always been really, really encouraging and really supportive throughout my career in general. But man, like the sweat that you feel when you do shit like that.
Yeah.
The day that you asked me to tattoo your fucking knuckles,
that was a good day.
I hadn't started working at Man's Ruin just yet.
You hadn't, had you?
No, I was down on a guest spot, but I think we'd organised that I was going to start there in the new year.
Yep.
And you wanted stars on like the top ridge of your knuckles.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, fuck. I don't think I tattooed the top ridge of someone's knuckles before, let alone future employer Pete Pav.
I got to say, I was as scared as you were. I was shitting myself. I don't know if you
I hope
remember.
this guy doesn't fuck me up.
I don't know if you remember, but if I remember, I had a bottle of Jack's in my hand.
I remember because you were doing nervous shots of whiskey, and then to make you feel better about the situation, you're making me do nervous shots of
Can't
whiskey
drink
with
alone.
you. I never drank while working before, and
Yep.
I'm getting that stencil ready, getting those little stars ready for your little mittens, and I was
My little mitts.
your little mitts, and I was dropping shit. My hands are trembling. I'm dropping stencil. I'm having to make another one because that one hit the ground.
Have another shot.
Yeah, man. I was so scared. And then pretty much as soon as I started, it was one of those like when you're at the pub and you see something really traumatic, like someone getting a real gnarly fight, and you just sobered immediately.
Game face.
That first line, I was just like, oh, I'm sober now.
Yeah.
Man, so much pressure. Just one tattooing another tattoo that you admire, but let alone your fucking future boss.
Yeah. Oh.
But I was so grateful for that opportunity.
No
and so
worries.
grateful that you gave me a job as well, man.
Yeah. Love having you.
I think this is maybe a good spot to end this.
Let's do it.
So Pete, thanks for coming on episode 2
Yeah.
for the True Love podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Well, I say that, but...
Anytime.
Look...
Probably one and only.
Might get, yeah, more I think about it, there's other people I want to talk to. But, thanks, Pete.
Awesome.